Good evening. My name is Grand Chief Carl. I'm the National Grand Chief of the Government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada. Tonight I'm coming to you in a very special communication process to identify what is going on, what we're doing about the vicious attacks that were brought against us, and basically what are we intending to do about the whole situation. Number one, allow me to inform you that the Government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada is not your normal association. It was created in 2005 to represent your rights. All we do is we defend your rights and make sure that the abuse that's been communicated to you, your family, your people, our nations, go out without continuation. How did we do that? Well, obviously, the Daniels case, we have to thank Harry Daniels for participating into that and bringing that we are all Indians and that we have all the same rights. We also want to welcome the decision of the United Nations, which was accepted by the Government of Canada on the 15th of May 2016. Article 3 and 4 are very important. Article 3 is you have the right to autodetermination. You also know what that means, right? You determine your future, what happens to you, how you govern yourself. And Article 4 is we have the right to self-government. Allow me to explain something to you additionally. When the Europeans came here, there was no Europeans, obviously, because they arrived. And when they arrived, there was already an existing governance that was very fluent to all the nations and understood by everybody. As you know, there was a severe fight and everything in 1763. The end of that fight came, and the Europeans, which were the English and French that were fighting on this territory, came out to an agreement, which we call the Royal Proclamation. And then the French abandoned the war, and basically some of them left and went back to France, and some of them stayed. But the governance was assured for those people and not us, because we were never implicated in their problem. The governance was to create in 1867 a government for the non-Aboriginal people. Why do we say non-Aboriginal people? Because we were never concerned. We were never asked. We were never questioned. They just decided arbitrarily to create a government that has nothing to do with us because we never adhered to their principle of coming and staying here. We tolerated them because that's who we are. Our hearts are open to share everything. We are not exclusive people, we are inclusive people, so we included them in our way of life. I'm going to expand in the next story that we're going to have together in probably a week or two, but right now the mandate that I have tonight is to communicate to you what is going on. You've all seen on television the lies that were brought against us, saying that we're not native, we're false Indians, our card's not recognized, our structure, our government is not recognized, which is totally false. And all through the programs that we've discussed together, that was asked so you guys can understand and us can relate together at sharing information to be able to identify to you who we are, where we're going, what we're doing, and who is going to be included. I've also through these different shows that we've had on YouTube, I basically told you that you have the responsibility of making sure to get your hands on the general information kit that we have. It was printed for you to be able to follow what we do. All the decisions of the courts are in there. All the actually participation of Canada into the United Nations Resolution on Indigenous Rights, and basically without excluding in any way, shape or form the Daniels decision, and all the other documents, the Government of Canada recognizing the Government of the Confederation, because we are a government, we're not an association. So all that information is in there, all the articles of the Constitution of Canada that protects your rights. Even though it's a foreign government, they still decided to protect our rights. All that information is in there, but if you cannot follow with the kit, the general information kit, it's going to be very, very hard for you to be able to understand what we're saying. As you can see, the kit is over an inch thick, and all the information that's in there is information that comes either from the Government of Canada, either from the Government of Quebec and other governments, or the United Nations, or the international arena altogether. It's imperative that you get that kit to be able to follow what we say. Having said that, tonight we are January the 13th, 2019. I want to take this opportunity to wish to you, your family, your friends, everybody in your surrounding to have a very, very pleasant, a very rich, not in money only, but in health, in everything that you wish, that 2019 will provide that to you and your family and your friends. Now, there's a mega lawsuit that is being brought, and the lawsuit that's being brought was already won before because Guillaume Carl, which is me, your Grand Chief, has proven genetically to be an Indian. Now, the Government of Canada should have stepped in and stopped the abuse that was brought against our government and our people. They did not do that. They encouraged voluntarily blindness, that's how we call it. They voluntarily became blind to what was going on and basically sat in and looked at the fight that was going on, where they have the responsibility to actually say that no, what you're saying is not true. But that's neither here or there for the moment. We have engaged a lawsuit that's going to be very quick because it was already won. People cannot and should not, they should be ashamed of saying that you're false Indians, that your card is not recognized, that your government is not recognized, when that's totally false, because we have the proof of the Government of Canada signing that they do recognize us. Obviously they're saying that because they think you're not going to react. I have to tell you that from what I was told last week, there's close to 3,000 members that have already embarked in this lawsuit. So why, if we have all these members that are participating in this lawsuit, am I talking to you tonight? I've spoken to our judicial experts, and they have told me, Grand Chief, there's many people that did not hear what you're doing in this lawsuit, and most likely would like to participate because they do suffer every day on what the government has done, or TVA, which is a television station, CBC Radio Canada, La Presse, Le Droit, all these individuals, FM 93, La Communauté Huron of Quebec City, the Hurons from Quebec, Wendake, Maniwaki, the community, Maniwaki, the peacekeepers that have printed illegally a card and have put it on walls, the peacekeepers of Ganawagi, and I'm skipping a few. These people have joined hands together to do the biggest discrimination I've ever seen against our people. And now they have to pay for it. And the paying is not only not only you, but our collectivity. The difference between the community and the collectivity. The collectivity are the people living on the piece of land that's the community. All these people have suffered. I cannot even start to begin tonight. I could write a book on what they've suffered. But the discrimination, the first one that was brought is their nationality. As you know, and I've delivered to all the communities that I've spoken to and all the people that spoke illegally against us, a letter of intent. They should have had a retraction. They have not. So now we're going to this mega lawsuit. There's $835 million that's going to be reserved for the government of the Confederation, and there's an additional $100 million that's going to be distributed amongst the people that participate in this lawsuit. You have to have a legal intent to participate. Therefore, you bring $20 into this lawsuit, and we take this $20, we deposit your name upon the list of the demanders that are requesting repair, because, and I think you should write this down if you don't know, because you could check. Article 10 in Quebec City under this under the law of Quebec is very specific. It says you cannot print anything against anybody unless you have the support that the Court of Canada will, or the Supreme Court, or whatever court in Canada or Quebec will allow you to do that. So if the case was already heard before, for example, and is won, and we're talking about your nationality, we cannot print your nationality because it's proprietary to you, it's confidential. This was already proven before. For example, Guillaume, Carl, the Grand Chief, myself, have proven to be genetically an Indian. And that is the decision of the court, and the judge has said that. Having said that, that's why they have to go to court and get the permission of the court to print stuff against you and I. They have not done that. So when you actually make a mistake like that, and you cannot plead ignorance, because ignorance against the law is not a justification, well then Article 1457 comes in and says, if you've suffered damages, you're allowed to be paid for it. You're allowed to have a responsible agreement that'll fix this problem. That's what we're doing now. So the letter of intent was delivered to all the parties, and now they know that there's a lawsuit coming because it was said on there. I also went ahead of my mandate and I told them, you did not respect Article 10, and now Article 1457 is going to show you that you have to pay for the damages you've done to us. That's including all the lies for everything. And you know, we're not in need of anybody, but we all have the responsibility to join hands together and making sure that what we're developing, for example, is not for myself. What we're developing is for our people, our youth to come. And you know, as Aboriginal people, that we have the responsibility of the next 7 generations, that our actions will help the next 7 generations. We are Indians, and we're different. We don't live on any reserve. We don't get any money to live off reserve, because we live where our ancestors used to decide to live. Nobody was going to tell them to go on welfare, because welfare did not exist at that time. People decided to go live on a reserve. That's okay with me. Don't have a problem with that. But I don't. That's not what I do. That's not what I propose or encourage to anybody. When the white and the non-Aboriginal people came here, there was no reserve. There was no Walmart. There was no McDonald's. You had to live off the land, and those rights are all recognized by the Constitution of Canada. In the general information book that I've got here, everything is in there. All your rights are in there. So now, in order to protect everybody, to making sure that if you want to join this, you cannot come after we've won our case and say, well, I'd like to be part, because it's going to be too late. Why is that important? We are not an exclusion process, we're an inclusion process. So our motivation comes in at telling you exactly what we're doing. After that, you decide whether you go left, right, you stand, you back up, or you go ahead. So in order to include everybody, or to give an inclusion process or chance to everybody, we have to give you 10 days following this, because we all have the responsibility to follow what our government does, and we are not the government of Canada. So now, I'm telling you, tonight, it is January 13th. There is going to be given 10 legal days for you to participate in this lawsuit. If you don't want to participate in it, it's all okay. But at least you cannot come back later when we've won, because we will win. It's already won. Now they have to defend their position why they took a shot at us, and wrongly took a shot at us. So now that it's already won, because I've proven genetically to be an Indian, and obviously a lot of you have done that, now they have to pay. So if that's already acquired by the court, and nobody made an appeal about it, so therefore the decision stands, we're going to take $100 million and we're going to distribute it amongst the members that paid $20 to be part of it, for the actual damage that you've suffered and continue to suffer every day. It does say everywhere, discrimination is not accepted by anybody. who are these people to say that we're false Indian? Where do these people come from? Where do they live? Are they okay? What is wrong with them? But now they got to pay. And everybody that's there has money to pay. So, 10 days. Tonight we are the 13th. So I'm not going to count tonight because it's close to 12. We're going to be the 14th. Let's start our date at the 14th. On the 24th of January, we are refusing anybody to come in because we only have a certain amount of time to distribute the lawsuit. Now the letter of intent was received by everybody, and we have proof that the bailiff delivered them. The next thing that's coming is the lawsuit. Here's the process. I deliver to these people our lawsuit. They have 30 days, and then I give them a date where they have to come to court. I cannot, for example, let's say in 40 days, a guy comes in and says, well, my God, I wasn't here, I want to participate. That means it would be a new demander, and we have to reissue to everybody the same procedure and say that we now have a new demander. So it closes on the 24th at 12 o'clock at night. If you so decide not to come, it's okay. And I want to really, really be clear. You cannot come after the fact that we've won and say you want to participate if it's going to be too late. Everybody is waiting. Now we have to move. And the discrimination has to stop. And the ones that have discriminated now have to pay. If you require any additional information, if you want to participate, you have to call the government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada. The phone number is 819-592-1313. 819-592-1313. Christian is our secretary. Or you have the Grand Chief of the Youth. His name is Gcapc. His phone number is 819-592-7607. 819-592-7607. They're going to guide you and tell you what you got to do to be part of this. Also, we have, as you know, because you're watching me, on Facebook, if you type Gcapc, which means Government Confederation Aboriginal People of Canada, it will bring you to our YouTube where you're actually watching me today. And under the specification, there's going to be some information for you. But the easiest way that I feel right now is that you get a hold of the government at the phone number I gave you, both of them, and they have the forms that you have to fill up to be part of this. So in closing, I want to wish you an incredible 2019. And I need you to understand that we are together. We got to be tenacious, but we got to be proud. We got to work together at making sure that nobody can ever take a shot at us the way they've done. That's completely unacceptable and the biggest discrimination I've ever seen in the world has happened in Canada here against us. Gcapc, thank you very much. Hopefully see you soon. Have a good night.